it's me, Shallon. So, last weekend I was away on a bachelor party. My publicist, he's getting married to my manager, actually. I'm like so excited. And I'm in the wedding. I've never been in a wedding ever. Always a bride, never a bridesmaid. And so I'm excited to be like my first wedding to be a gay wedding. I'm psyched. Anyway, we were away on his bachelor party upstate in a cabin, and his two little sisters were there. And they're both in college. And so it was awesome for me to like spend the whole weekend talking to them and like hearing what they're like talking about, what their boy issues are, like what their boy questions are, what other girls are talking about. I was just like, yes, ladies, tell me. So one of them said something that was like so like, I really thought a lot about it. She's like, there's this one sorority, and both girls are in sororities, but they're not like the typical sorority girl. And that's the point. She's like, all the guys, all the frats go for this one sorority. Maybe it was AKIO or something. And they're like, just like, they're just like these girly, like dumb sluts who just like laugh at everything. It's like, oh, you want me to just like walk over there and kiss my friend? Okay. Like, she's like, they're just like, they're always like all dressy and like, meh. And they're like not trendy or whatever. Like, it's so annoying. And I was like, oh, so the guys like them? She's like, yes, they go crazy for them. Why? I was like, I'm going to think on this a spell. And so now I have an answer for you guys. But before I get into it, I just want to remind you guys, if you have a question of your own, a love question, please find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO, and click chat and we can get started talking. And also be sure to watch this video all the way through because as you know, now at the end of my videos, I'm doing something called a happy ending where I give you a sex or hookup tip and it's great. Also, I'll give you deets on the lip look that I'm wearing because I feel like every video I do, people are always asking. So fill you in on that. Okay, but back to like why guys seem to go for like the basic bitches, the like typical, like done up, what just, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe girls like this, but you know what I mean, right? I'm sure that you do. Like, it seems like if you're a little bit low key, a little bit weird, a little bit alternative in some way, it's like you are the girl that romance forgot. I know because I was like that for a long time. I was emo, like super emo. There's a Fall Out Boy song written about me. That's how emo I was. But so like I understand what it's like to be kind of like on the outside looking in. And I was also a sorority girl too, but I was like the weird one. Not like super weird, but like I wasn't that bitch that Becca was talking about that like all the frat guys loved. I was just a little like left to center, a little strange. And because I was involved in all sorts of things. I was involved in ROTC. I was doing improv. Like I was volunteering. And so like I was like too sorority for the theater people. And I was too like weird for the sorority. So it's like I was just in this kind of weird limbo. And I would see the guys I liked date like the stereotypical sorority bitch. And it made me crazy. And I felt really badly about myself. Now I can look back and tell you why guys are doing that. And by the way, do you like that I like dressed down for this video? Just to like really be gang. Think about what a college guy is. It's hard to take a step back and like really understand that college dudes, so like a guy in high school is like a single cell protozoa version of a man. A college guy is like a double cell version of a man. Like he's better, but he's still not quite there. You know how you can tell? Think of his eating habits, right? What do college dudes eat? Easy Mac, ramen, Hot Pockets, like Chick-fil-A, microwave burritos, like shit like that. Things that are easily digested, right? They're not complicated. They're not wild and experimental or adventurous. You can do it without thinking. That's how guys date too. At least in college. And you know what? Some dudes grow up and this is just where they are. For the most part though, people mature and they want a little bit more complexity. But if you're in college, this is what you're dealing with. Double cell protozoa version of a man, a hot pocket man. So they kind of want something that makes sense to them, that's familiar, and that's easy for them to be around because to them, these basic bitch sorority girls are predictable. They know what kind of movie they're going to want to watch. They know what their idea of a good time on Friday night's going to be. They know like what this girl is going to grow into. She's going to want a baby and a marriage, you know, and maybe I'm not saying these guys want that, but they know that that's where this is headed. And so they can like accept or reject that from the get-go and kind of get in like autopilot mode with these chicks. Do you know what I mean? It's a very simple exchange. They understand the deal. It's almost more like transparency. Weirder girls like us are like, who even knows? Who knows what she's going to be like? Is she going to jump down my throat if I say something's retarded because that's not an appropriate word? Is she going to like badger me about voting? Which, you know what, ladies, yes, you should. We should all be doing that. Unless, of course, you vote Republican, then don't vote at all. I'm not kidding. But like, you know, is she going to want to like drag me to some weird lesbian poetry slam on a Friday night when I'd rather just watch football or something? So it's like a single cell protozoa version of a man or double is not going to enjoy that chaos. Most people have a very low, and this is a psychological thing, chaos tolerance. They want routine, predictability, run-of-the-mill shit. These are people who never leave their hometown. You know what I mean? I have a very high chaos tolerance. That's why I travel a lot. I live in New York City. I have to constantly be stimulated. Boredom is my mortal enemy. I'm terrified of being bored. But a lot of people aren't that way, and probably the vast majority aren't. And so therefore, the people you're dealing with at school, they're going to look for what is recognizable. And even if these guys haven't dated that basic bitch themselves, that basic bitch is like recognizable as a whole in society. Pumpkin spice latte and Uggs and fall. You know, like, you know what that bitch looks like. You know, she's got those yoga pants on. So they know that too. They're conditioned by society the way we are. So again, it's like they know what they're getting. The same way that if we were to date a jock, captain of the lacrosse team, a lot more predictable than if we were going for like the shy, quiet guy who's like drawing a lot by himself in the library. Who fucking knows what's going on in his head? He could be a school shooter. He could be a creative genius. I don't know. And some people don't want to know. They don't want to know. They want a very digestible, hot pocket experience when it comes to romance, when it comes to food, and you know what, ladies? When it comes to sex. I've slept with quite a few people, like 3. It's divisible by 3. That's all you need to know. And like, I have found an almost undeniable correlation between these basic dudes and basic sex. I mean, you don't really get people who are unadventurous in every other category of their life, food, where they live, what their job is, who their friends are, where they travel, and yet they're wild in bed. It just does not happen. It doesn't. Because sex is the thing we're most like shamed about as a society. So you're going to experiment the least in that category. There's so much more of your character and your self-worth tied to sex than like whether or not you eat sushi. So you ain't going to be eating the sushi in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So what's the point of all this? So now that we know why guys are going for that, how do you like deal with this? How does this information fit into your social life? Well, I can tell you that from my experience, I spent a lot of years single and kind of like ramming my head into like locked doors of relationships, like boys who it just didn't go anywhere, and I was chasing and, you know, trying to make things work because I was leading with my weirdness. And I remember a guy, did you ever watch that show on VH1 called Tough Love? It's hosted by that guy, Steve. He's a fucking douche. But he gave good advice, and like I knew him, and like I was out, like we were in a group one time, and he's like, rule number 1, don't be weird. I was like, you know what? I was like so triggered. I was so mad. I'm like, this is who I am, and my personality is amazing. Blah, blah, blah. Now looking back, I can see how, like, I can see the truth in what he said. I'm not saying he's 100% right, and it's not like you can't be weird, but don't lead with it. I was leading with my weirdness almost like a test. Like, well, we're going to see what he's made of. And if he doesn't like this, and if he doesn't get me at my weirdest, he doesn't get me at my most basic. What? But like, I wouldn't appreciate a guy doing that to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want him to lead with the personality aspect that he has that is least relatable. So why was I doing that? It's not that it's bad or it's good. It's just, dating is about connecting with people. And if you're leading with the thing that is hardest to connect to, some weird art house movie genre that you like, and like you talk specifically about that on dates, and you like reject a guy if he's not into it. Like, how much does that actually like matter in a relationship? Like, is that a deal breaker for you? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. And the things that I was being like deal breakery about, like, this is my weirdness. Look how emo I am. I love emo music. Okay, maybe it's okay if the guy I date doesn't come with me to a My Chemical Romance show. Maybe he could like his own music. Like, if he's super into the Red Sox and I'm not, if that's what he led with, I'd be like, well, I can't connect to this person. That's not what I'm into. And he's being kind of aggressive about it. And, you know, I don't really want to see where else this goes, you know? So now, and I'm not saying you should be ashamed of your weirdness. I'm just saying that you have to decide what return on investment you want. What do you want out of these situations? If you want to position yourself as like the weird art girl or the this or the that or whatever it is, you're going to have to accept that that's going to cost you a little bit in terms of dateability. I know it's not fair. I would love if every movie was like a rom-com where the popular jock guy dated the weird arty girl. It's not. It's not, because for the reasons I said, we're confusing to guys like that. People stay in their comfort zones in terms of dating. White people tend to date white people. Black people tend to date black people. Not all the time, but like it's so much more socially acceptable. It's like culturally, that's what they're used to. People use the same vocabulary. They eat the same foods. They've had similar experiences. And like I said, dating is about connection. And you connect when you have similar experiences. So the popular basic dude is going to date the popular basic bitch because they've probably had a lot of very similar experiences. They look at the world the same. They're moving through the world and to similar goals and eventualities in the same way. You know what I mean? So you want to highlight the similarities you have with people. So instead of me leading with the weirdness that I have that is hard to connect with, I've learned to lead with the weirdness that's easier to connect with. For example, like my domesticity. I love baking. I love decorating my house. I love holidays. I go ham on holidays. Look at all this shit back here. And like, I try to lead with that. I try to lead with like my weirdness in terms of how much I love animals and all the weird animal facts I know, because most people love animals and people also love weird animal facts. Like, did you know an elephant's pregnant for 2 years? You probably did. Do you know that a Sphinx cat, the hairless ones, they became that way due to a spontaneous genetic mutation? It wasn't like over time. It was like one generation. None of them had hair anymore. See? But like, that's weird that I know that. But it's connectable. It builds similarities. It builds a rapport with someone versus me talking about like my bizarre emo years. And, you know, it's just, Now, what about, now that we've taken care of the personality, what about like the outward appearance? Like, what if you're just not that bitch who's going to like do her hair and get dressed up? You're more like a Daya song, you know, that song where she's like bitching about being at a party and you're like, oh, then just go home. Or is it Alessia Cara? I think it's Alessia Cara. Yeah, where it's like a 4-minute song about how she's so miserable to party. If I was a songwriter, I would make a response song called No One Wants You Here Either, because you have a bad attitude. And that's another thing. Before we get to the physical, let's talk about attitude. If you're going into situations where you're mingling with these basics, AKIOs or whatever, and you go in there just mean mugging, ready for that outcome, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Would you want to talk to the guy at the bar who's like, who's like pissing and bitchy about the frat guys he doesn't like or understand? No. Again, this isn't a rom-com where like the popular dude goes for the saltiest chick in the room. It's not fun. It's not cute. It doesn't get you anything but a bad time. So try to reframe this in your mind. Instead of being like, this is a competition between me and the AKIOs. Be like, they've got their lane. I've got mine. Our lanes overlap a little bit, you know, like we're both sorority. We're both into this. Maybe we're both into the same kind of music, but like they dress different than I do. Their weirdness is this big. Mine's this big. And so I'm going to learn to lead with it in a positive way that gives me the outcome that I want. But yeah, let's talk about physicality, like the way you dress. I have noticed that generally these basic bitch sorority girls that we're talking about are not ultra trendy. I could be wrong, but from like the research that I've done, they're a little bit more basic. Basic girls aren't trendy. I'm not trendy. I'm basic. I'm also really good with dudes. Like dudes like me because they can understand me. One of my best friends, she is gorgeous. I mean, we are obsessed with her. She's gorgeous. She is smart. She is funny. She's like she's a stylish person for a living. I won't tell you her job because I don't want you to figure out who she is. But she is like the most stylish little person in the whole wide world. And she has the worst luck with boys. Like she just wants a boyfriend and like cannot find one. And I believe her stylishness is like keeping guys away from her. Because like she's got a great attitude, everything, but guys see girls who are really trendy and stylish and it's intimidating for them because on some level, they know their limitations in terms of style. They're like, okay, well, I'm in like a hoodie and track pants. Like she's going to make fun of me. Guys are incredibly frightened of being made fun of. Like so much more than we are because we're strong. We can handle it. They can't. So they think, okay, she's going to make fun of me. Or like I said, I don't know what lies behind that stylishness. I don't know what her personality is. Like, is she really like judgy and frigid? Is she going to make fun of all my friends because we all wear hoodies and sweatpants or whatever? Like, is she going to like spend all her time shopping? Is she super high maintenance and she takes 2 hours to get ready to go to Cheesecake Factory? You know, it's a lot of unknowns. And for the most part, people don't like unknowns. And it's not just guys. It's not just college dude. It's people. People want what is easy to be around. That's the number one thing guys want in a girlfriend. You know that? Someone who is easy to be around. And a super, super trendy, stylish girl doesn't seem easy to be around. She seems complicated. And like, my friend is not like this, but like a lot of like college girls and high school girls that I see you guys wearing trends and the trends are wearing you. I can see and feel how uncomfortable and not self-assured you are in these outfits. You're wearing them because you think you're supposed to, because you think it like makes you normal and worthy and seen and valid. And it's like, that outfit might work for Gigi and Bella. It doesn't work for you. Even if you have their body. If that's not who you are authentically, don't wear that. My personal style has always been, and probably always will be, Kardashian guest starring as a Gossip Girl villain. Think about it, you know it when you see it. Like that is, I like to dress like that. And I dress that way regardless of what trends are in. I don't buy anything high-waisted. It doesn't look good on me. I don't like it. I'll wear jeans from 10 years ago if I have to, if they fit me and look better. Like I'll wear a tight bandage style dress, even if it's not trendy, because I feel good in it. I look good in it. And you know what? People respond well because I feel good in what I'm wearing. So trends aren't necessarily your friends. Okay? Do what works for your body shape, for your budget, for your climate. Don't wear crop tops if you go to Syracuse. It's weird. It's cold up there. And then I think you're going to start to find when you're more authentic, you're going to connect more with your personality and you're going to be able to differentiate like the good weird versus the weird weird and what to lead with to get you those social results that you want. But like I said, if you don't want to do that, if you just want to like be who you are, do it. But it's going to come, it's going to come at a cost. It's like anything else. You can eat whatever you want. Like, I don't care, but it's going to come at a price. You can do all the drugs you want. Cool. There's going to be a price to that. Nothing comes without a price. And I don't want you to think that like doing drugs is the same as being your authentic self. That's not what I mean. But like let people earn access to those weird parts. That's, I guess, my overall thesis is like now my weird parts haven't changed and I haven't like become like ashamed of them. But now I see them not as something to hide, but something to be earned. The access must be earned to those stories, to that weirdness, to that like really inner part of myself that maybe my friends love, but guys just don't really understand. So that's not a first date. Some of these weird things, they're not first date topics. They're like 6 months down the road, I'm going to show you my weird emo outfits, you know? So just try to think of it that way. And don't look at those basic bitches as your competition. Everyone has their own lane, and what they're looking for isn't necessarily what you're looking for, and vice versa. And you will find guys who appreciate you. Like I said, people mature. You might have to look outside the realms. If you're okay with dating the dude who maybe isn't like the frat president, you might find the guy who appreciates your complexity and weirdness. But don't try to shove that basic dude into your more complicated life, heart, mind, and personality. Okay? Hope this is helpful. Oh, and let's talk about happy ending, right? Okay. That's right. It's time for happy ending. So happy ending is where I do a little naughty sex tip, hookup tip. So this is something I like to do on dates, not with like a, yeah, I guess it could be with a boyfriend, but I usually do it on date like 4, you know, like maybe we've already hooked up, or, you know, like tonight's the night, you know, like we're going to go all the way. So say we're at dinner or something. It has to be in like a public place, You get up to go to the bathroom or something like that. And you're like, oh, wait, can I tell you something? And he's like, yeah. You lean in, you cup your hand around his ear so that, yeah, say that this is his ear. You want to cup your hand on the outside so that no one can see what you're doing. You're like, well, actually, and then you give him an ear job. You lick his ear and stick your tongue in his ear. Don't be like, it's not a wet willy. It's like, it's almost like a kiss, you know? You want to trace the outside and go in, almost like a spiral. And he's going to be like, or just like bite hard, not crazy hard, but just like a little nibble on the earlobe and tug. And just be like, yeah, anyway. And you walk away and he'll be like, it works. He'll be hard. Sorry, YouTube. I'm not talking about naughty things. Don't demonetize my video. But so that's like a fun little thing to play. You can kind of only do it once and then they catch on, but like it's a fun way to just like spike them up, perk up the evening, get them ready for what's after. And I know you guys like to know about the lip look. I have told you before that I am a new Amazon influencer. So products that I talk about in my video and stuff, and just products that I love, you can find in my Amazon storefront. You go to amazon.com/shop/Shallon Lester, and there I am. Maybe it's Shallon XO. I probably should do this research. But like I have a storefront for like sexy things that I love, everyday makeup, other products that I love. Like I try to break it down as much as possible. One thing, and I cannot tell this enough, and I'm going to try and say it in every video, is that you can buy Plan B on Amazon for $14. They jack up the price at drugstores because they know you need it. So you'll pay whatever. But if you can plan out your hoey activity and your, your naughty stuff, if you can bet against yourself, basically, and be like, at some point, I'm probably going to need Plan B. It's $14. It's not on Prime though, so you have to get like 5 days to arrive. So it can't be an emergency thing. It just got to be like tucked away for those hoey weekends. Okay, for the lip look, I'm using a Giorgio Armani pencil. This is Smooth Silk Lip Pencil in number 7. It's really super like raisiny. I like it. And then I fill it all in, and then I just take a balm and I kind of go over it to sort of blend all the pencil together. I don't like to layer lip gloss necessarily directly over pencil because it can like show the inconsistencies in where I filled in my lips. So this is a lip balm I love. I bought it in bulk. I got it in Germany. It's by Labello. It's called Blackberry Shine. And I was like gonna send my boyfriend back to Germany to buy me like another palette of this stuff. Turns out they sell it here. They just call it Nivea. I saw it at a drugstore. I was like, what? I'm not special anymore, but I love it. It smells really good. It's like blackberryish, but kind of perfumey. It tastes good. So you can put it on. It gives you like a good lip look and you can make out in it and it doesn't get everywhere and boys like how it tastes. So that'll be in my Amazon store. Go check it out. And if you guys have questions, remember, find me on the Instant Go app or leave a comment right here on this video for the best chance of it getting answered.